The next one we're going to look at is called an axe hand. Again, from the World War II curriculum, very compressed, only a couple of basic hand tools, a couple of basic strikes with the feet. One of the main ones they used was the edge of hand blow, or what we like to call the axe hand. In Fairbairn's day, they like to employ the edge of the hand here, just this point, or the knife edge. Modern combative thinking has increased this area from this little finger knuckle digit here all the way down to the elbow. So anywhere here is a striking surface. Now to create an axe hand, you want to extend your fingers and lift your thumb up. The thinking with the thumb, rather than the traditional kind of knife hand strike that you find in traditional martial arts, is that when you strike, what usually happens is the hand will cut or it'll collapse. So on impact, if you extend the thumb, it kind of keeps everything rigid. It doesn't really matter which one you employ. I prefer to keep the thumb up. I prefer that line of thinking. Very versatile weapon. Axe hand can be used from any position, whether you're stood up, somebody to the side, front, behind, if you're seated, if you're lying down, as we'll see. Again, targeting generic on the high line, anywhere at the front of the throat here, side of the neck, back of the neck, jawbone, up under the nose, between the eyes, anywhere here will give you a good result. Also good for striking limbs. If you grab on the wrist, on the forearm, this cluster of nerves here, boom, hit that and then strike the neck. Hitting the groin from behind, lots of different ways. In its most basic way, we're going to practice it to the high line or to the body on a kind of impact shield. This is another kind of shield that we like to employ, small shield. Traditional martial artists will hold on to the pads like this and just kind of put their arms through this way. What I like to employ is that the pad is flat against the front of the body where possible. This way you're going to encourage the feeder, the person holding the pad, to get in condition to a little bit of impact. So if you are in a struggle or in a situation where you've grappled and you take a shot to the body, which is highly probable, you're not going to go down because you're used to impact. So it conditions the body much like a medicine ball would. So for instance, when I hit this here, he's going to kind of breathe out, contract his abdomen, which is going to allow him to get used to taking a shot and give him some conditioning. So it's kind of a double-sided thing. From here, using this pad, it's going to kind of be side on to me and I'll work from this position. Just another note on kit, of the very cheapest form you could use. Get yourself a yellow pages, bit of sponge on the front, some gaffer tape, you've got a good improvised shield, very, very cheap. So from here, look, if we work it from the side, I'm going to work from the Ed Sullivan position here, and I'm going to just kind of whip in my hips. So I'm going to take a little tiny step, whip my hips through, creating a recoil on my shoulder, and then follow through with my strike. So rather than just using my hand like this, I'm going to kind of turn my body in like this, just whipping in my hips. Then when I've got this down and I'm starting to drop weight, I'll start to bring this hand up in a guard, just habitually to protect my head here. This is just one way that we can practice it. You can also practice it on the focus pads. Just one's fine. First of all, we have what we call a short shot, short axe hand, which works well from this kind of position or from here, where the shot is linear, it's coming straight forward. So the trajectory is this. I'm just going to throw my hand up and into the face or into the throat. Whereas the longer type of axe hand comes across and downward. So one will employ kind of a drop step, the other will employ talking of the hips here. So what I might do from here is just drop forward from this position and strike into the throat just from here. Here, just like this. Okay. So level of force to level of threat. What I might do here, if he's just gobbing off, and I might just hit him hard enough just to give him like a gag reflex, just kind of this motion here, make him stumble back, make him become less combative in attitude and think twice about stepping up to me. Or in the worst extreme, I'll aim to crush this. Okay, I mean, that's again worst case scenario. I'm not telling you to do that. From here I might hit up under the nose, which is a lower level of force option, or into the throat. Again, under pressure or under stress, your decision-making abilities are impaired. So you might not be calm enough to think, well, I'm going to land that right there. You'll just flinch and throw it, hit anywhere. So you might hit him here, 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 or here. Anyway, it's going to get a result. It's going to get his body rocking for my continuous attack to come in. One thing that you must emphasise is that anything works in combatives in a proactive sense, i.e. on preemptive, must also work for you reactively. So for instance, in the axe hand, I might work from here, I might strike his neck here. But I also want the axe hand to work for me if he grabs me here. Then it'll work in the same motion. If I use this shot, the short shot, up under his throat or into his face here, as a preemptive strike, that's great. But it must also work reactive. What if he throws a big shot at me here? then I'm just going to throw this up and drop my head behind it. This is going to offer me a degree of cover to his shot, and I'm still going to plant my tool. So from here, it's working both proactively and reactively. So just to show you that again, in a preemptive sense from here, I'll just drop it in. In a reactive sense, he throws that shot, I'll just cover up and hit from here. Okay? So this is the short axe hand. The long axe hand comes across and kind of cleaves downwards. One way that we like to practice it, like this drill from one of my peers, Dennis Martin, he'll show you a frontal pad here, and then the fiddle will turn it here. So what you're doing from this position is you'll drop forward and strike with a short shot, bringing this back to chamber. He'll then turn the pad, and then I'll whip it through. Notice I'm cutting all the way through like I'm going to cleave his head. So from here, short, long. That's the axe hand.